Hello, good evening. Is the voice and the picture okay? Uh, I hope I'm both audible and visible to all of you. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, Aditi, thank you, Aditi, for your presence, and I hope that uh, that the sound quality and the picture quality are okay. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I should be thankful to that poha. I should be thankful to that poha, uh, which is keeping me healthy and fit for this YouTube live lecture. Uh, yes, I have conveyed to my home minister about the poha that her poha that they're getting. Yeah. Otherwise, having attended the college and, and everything, I mean, I would not have managed. Yes, I'm thankful to her. I'm thankful to the poha. Okay. So, so just kindly let me know if this is okay. Am I perfectly audible and visible, so that I can begin the talk that I am supposed to begin. Just kindly give me a green signal or whatever. Yeah, perfect. All clear. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, since you are giving me that nod, so I should begin the talk. And the talk that I am going to deliver the lecture on is queer theory. But when we talk about queer theory, we have to go back to a few centuries, not very far, few centuries, back to the times of Aristotle and Plato, right? Back to the times of Aristotle and Plato, and when uh, uh, women and slaves were compared to each other, when women and slaves were compared to each other, and and the masters, the slave masters, used to treat used to treat the slaves as their property. Similarly, the the husbands, the husbands used to think women their property. So there was not much of a difference between slaves and women in classical Greece. Although many of you mistake classical Greece to be almost a kind of a heaven of homoeroticism. Not to be, not really. Okay, so so even from classical Greece, we have this division between men and women, and men as the owner of the women and women to be the possession of men. So this is how the gender division worked in ancient classical society. Now, if I skip uh, uh, or jump from the 5th century BC to say uh, to say 1789, to say 1789. What happened in 1789? 1789 is remembered for the collapse of Bastille. French Revolution. French Revolution happened in 1789, and with the collapse of Bastille and French Revolution, there was a slogan that was doing the rounds before and after and during the French Revolution. And what was that slogan that was doing the rounds? What was that slogan? The slogan was liberty, equality, and fraternity. Yeah, fraternity. So the slogan was liberty, equality, and fraternity. I'm absolutely happy with liberty. Fantastic. French Revolution celebrated liberty. Fantastic. So wonderful. French Revolution also celebrated equality. Brilliant. We should celebrate equality, right? But the third one that the French Revolution was celebrating is, what's the third one? I'm happy with liberty, I'm happy with equality. What's the third one that French Revolution kept on celebrating? The third one is fraternity. But when we talk about fraternity, we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful. Even we teachers, we say that we belong to a teaching fraternity. We belong to lawyers fraternity. We belong to film fraternity. But whenever we say fraternity, we forget something. What do we forget? We forget that fraternity comes from fraternal, and the very word fraternity or fraternal extremely gendered and gendered masculine. So therefore the very word fraternity is not gender inclusive at all. So the word fraternity is extremely gender exclusive. Is extremely gender exclusive. And what does it exclude? What does it exclude? It excludes women. Because fraternity means a group of men. So even in French Revolution, we do not seem to realize that patriarchy has managed to sneak in. We do not seem to realize that patriarchy has managed to sneak in, even in such a progressive a revolutionary spirit like French Revolution. But that's not where it all ends. Let us proceed 1 century more. We come to the 19th century, and we see in the 19th century the growth and development of socialism, the growth and development of Marxism, communism. And when we see these developments, socialism, Marxism, communism, what exactly do we see? We see rise of Lenin, we see growth of proletariats, we see the dictatorship of proletariats. But even then, that dictatorship of proletariat is extremely gendered masculine. We don't see much of women chipping in. So therefore, we even I missed Renaissance. Even if we go back to 15th and 16th century European Renaissance, we see something called Renaissance humanism, isn't it? Isn't it? We see something called Renaissance humanism. And what do we see in Renaissance humanism? We see man. We see man. We see man in Renaissance humanism. We don't see women in Renaissance humanism. So if we see the history of human progress, we see how humanity and masculinity are almost used synonymous. So humanity has been synonymously used as masculinity, and masculinity has been synonymously used as humanity. We saw that in classical Athens, we saw that in Renaissance humanism, we saw that in French Revolution, liberty, equality, and fraternity. We saw that in socialism, communism, the growth of socialism and communism in the 19th century. So when we see these growths, we see also certain different things also as well. We also see, let us jump to the next century, that is the 20th century. When we come to 1950s, 1949 is a very important year, because in this year the second sex was published. Simone de Beauvoir published the second sex in the year 1949. Correct me if I'm wrong. So Simone de Beauvoir published the second sex in the year 1949, and in that very book, Beauvoir had said that that one is not born a woman, one becomes a woman. One is not born a woman, but one becomes a woman. I'll come back to this. So womanhood is not, according to Simone de Beauvoir, womanhood is not a being, but a becoming. Please understand this carefully. So womanhood is not a being, but a becoming. Yeah. So if womanhood is, as you have pointed out, if womanhood is not a being but a becoming, then anyone can become woman. Then anyone with either a penis or a vagina can become a woman. Because if Beauvoir is saying that womanhood is not a being but a becoming, then this becoming can be performed by any sexed body, be it a body with a penis or be it a body with a vagina. If a body with a penis becomes a woman, then you can be sexed male and still become woman, according to Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex. So if one is not born a woman, one becomes a woman, then who are you to guarantee that that one who becomes a woman is not necessarily a man? So therefore, if one is not born a woman but becomes a woman, we can say that female is not born a woman but becomes a woman, but then we can also say that man is not born a woman but becomes a woman. Now this is where second wave feminism lands in troubled transphobic water. This is where second wave feminism lands in extremely troubled transphobic water. Now I am going to drop a very important name of a feminist. The important name of a feminist is Germaine Greer, right? Is Germaine Greer. Now, Germaine Greer is saying, what is Germaine Greer saying? Germaine Greer is saying that uh, only the people who are born woman become woman. That is to say, in order for you to qualify as a person who could become a woman, you have to be born woman. Now, I do not understand what Germaine Greer said when he said that you have to be born woman. Now, to understand the transphobia of the feminists like Germaine Greer, I would be bringing in another name. I would be bringing, good evening. I would be bringing in another name. I do not understand your name. It was written. It was not written in Technojal, but I'd be very happy if you reveal your identity. A good evening to you, however. I would be extremely interested in bringing in a name of a feminist, although she. Good evening, Shujoy. Good evening. Is it Shujoy from second semester of my college? Or is it anyone else? Okay. Okay. I hope you were there in class today in college. I had a very interesting lecture. Oh, good. Very good. Okay. Very good evening, Sujay. Very good evening to you. Very good evening to all. And I request everyone to share the link of this YouTube live everywhere in their social media. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, everywhere, so that it reaches to maximum number of people and makes this talk rather successful. So yes, I was talking about another feminist that I would be tempted to bring in, particularly while continuing the problem that feminists like Germaine Greer is landing themselves in. Her name is, I think she is the writer of Harry Potter books. I have forgotten her name. I have totally missed out on her name. She wrote the Harry Potter series, and I'm talking about the writer of Harry Potter. I think her name is. Oh, I remember, J.K. Rowling. Yeah, J.K. Rowling. I'm sorry, I totally forgot that name. Now, J.K. Rowling tweeted few months ago, and what did she tweet? She tweeted that Let us be united. Let us be united for all women. Let us be united for all women. And who are these women? Let us be united for all women. Who are these women? The women are those people who menstruate. Amazing. Amazing. So only those people who menstruate are women. Extraordinary, outrageous, shocking, stupid, silly, ridiculous, disgusting. So basically, what J.K. Rowling is saying, exactly, Aditi. So basically, what J.K. Rowling is saying is that in order for you to qualify as a woman, you have to menstruate. Yes, Arijit, she is asymptomatically patriarchal. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, in order for you to qualify as um, as a, what should I say, as a woman, you have to menstruate. So those people who do not menstruate cannot be called a woman. Who decides that? You have to have a vagina, yeah. And that's why J.K. Rowling tweeted few months back that let us unite, let us be united, let us be united for people who menstruate. Is this how you bond and gel with women? Is it going to consolidate feminism? Is it the future of feminism that you are asking the people who menstruate to be united together? What about the trans women? No, seriously, what about the trans women? They never menstruate. Trans women, last time I checked, trans women do not menstruate. Trans women never menstruate. So if a trans woman does not menstruate, then is she not a woman? Since when menstruation becomes the minimum prerequisite for your qualification of a womanhood? I didn't know that menstruation is becoming the minimum prerequisite for your qualification as woman, for your qualification of womanhood. And this tweet of J.K. Rowling or that comment of German Greer are extraordinarily transphobic. And extraordinarily transphobic. Extremely transphobic. I cannot say enough how transphobic these sort of comments actually are. Okay, when you say what about the women, what about the men who are womanly? First thing, I do not know who are men. Second thing, I do not know what is womanly and what is manly. Thirdly, I do not know how do you decide manly behavior and womanly behavior. That is to say, this behavior is manly behavior. How do you decide that? That behavior is womanly behavior. How do you measure that? How do you decide that? How do you evaluate that? What are the yardsticks? What are the parameters? What are the scales that you use to measure up manly behavior and womanly behavior? I do not know who women are. আমি নারী কি আমি জানি না, নারী কারা আমি জানি না, পুরুষ কি আমি জানি না, পুরুষ কারা আমি জানি না, নারী পুরুষের সংজ্ঞা আদেও হয় নাকি আমার একদম জানা নেই। আমি বিশ্বাসই করি না নারী পুরুষ বলে কিছু হয়। বিকজ দ্য মোমেন্ট ইউ সে that behavior is manly, that one is man, this behavior is womanly, this one is woman, what you are basically doing, you are no Sujay, no Sujay, if we say those who drive bike are men, then we are unfortunately falling into the traps of patriarchy. Because it is patriarchy which has set up a trap. What is the trap? The trap in which biking is always associated with masculinity, and in which femininity is always associated with domesticity. Something that I was talking to you in college today probably. How mobility is gendered masculine and how immobility is gendered feminine. So therefore, bike sort of represents continuous mobility, as it were, and therefore bike is unfortunately mistaken to be an hallmark of manhood. But the moment you say biking and masculinity are inseparable, what you are doing, you are being asymptomatically patriarchal, because you are unconsciously declaring that masculinity is something that is to be identified with and through the performance of biking. Okay, particularly if you see the advertisements, TV commercials, often you see the biking culture is associated with men and ox. How many times have you seen a bike being associated with a cow, with a goat? Or say the movies like often bike is associated with lions, with tigers, and that's why how often do you see a movie ek tha गाय, एक था बछूर, और से गाय जिंदा है, और से बछूर जिंदा है. I mean, you know, there is a guy called there is a guy, I've forgotten his name, in Bollywood. 99.99% times his movies are always associated with tiger. You know, why do we not have the movies which is titled like एक था zebra, एक था uh, 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 cow, or say cow zinda hai. Why? I have forgotten the name of the gentleman. uh, uh, बाछुड़ जिंदा है, काऊ जिंदा है, एक था uh, 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 बिल्ली. Why? Why? Think about that. Think about that. Or there is a hero whose name is called uh, mm, uh, Cow Shroff. What's the name? I forgot the name. Or say uh, uh, Guy Shroff. Or why do people name always tigers and lions? Huh? Now I will come to a very important part of the discussion about the TARPs. Now, who are the TARPs? TARPs are short forms of TERFS. TERFS. The full form is Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists. And these German Greers, these Sheila Jeffries, these people like J.K. Rowling, J.K. Rowling, and these people are extremely transphobic, so they are called trans exclusionary radical feminists. Now, to counter this problem of second wave feminism, therefore, gay and lesbian studies were introduced. But initially it was gay and lesbian studies, and then even the gay and lesbian activists, they realized that we are leaving behind many other identities, many other marginal sexual identities. And who are they? That identities like bisexuals, the identities like transsexuals, the identities like transgenders. Because it's not necessary that you have to be a, a I know many gay men who are extremely violent. I know many lesbian women who are not masculine. I know many bisexuals who are highly hegemonic men. So I know many feminists who are extremely transphobic. So it's not necessary that you have to be limited to gay and lesbians. So gay and lesbian studies were extended into GLBTQ. So gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer. GLBTQIA plus. Now this plus sign is extremely important. A plus sign is extremely important because we tend to write these days LGBTQIA plus. This is how we write LGBTQIA plus in the top right corner. Now, why do we use this plus sign? We use this plus sign to give a message, to give a very, very strong, important, powerful message. What's the message? The message is that that plus sign is an example of inclusivity. Listen to this carefully. Plus sign is an example of inclusivity, and the plus. Yeah. I will come to queer. I will come to queer, Aditi, in probably couple of minutes time. Uh, but before I come to queer, let me first clarify the plus sign, which is always added as an appendix towards the end of LGBTQIA. So we never write LGBTQ. We used to write previously. Now we write LGBTQIA plus plus. So what does that plus do, and why do we actually write that plus at all? That plus sign does serve couple of purposes. That plus sign serves couple of purposes. The first purpose that the plus sign serves is that it leaves the door open. It leaves the door open for all other sexualities which may not yet have been included. Maybe there are sexualities which we do not know. Maybe there are sexualities which we are not even aware of. So what does that plus sign do? The plus sign leaves opportunities for all those peripheral, marginal identities and sexualities. They are all welcome. So the plus sign stands for absolute inclusivity. So the plus sign is anti-exclusive and pro-inclusive. The plus sign is absolutely, I'll say this again. So the plus sign is absolutely anti-exclusive and pro-inclusive. So what do I mean by pro-inclusive? I mean that plus sign does not believe in any sort of, any kind of, any category of exclusivity at all. At all. So if you are using a plus sign at the towards the end of a signal like LGBTQIA plus, you are leaving your main door open for everyone to walk in. You are keeping your door never shut. You are keeping your door open. You are keeping your door wide open continuously. And the plus sign stands for the door being kept perpetually open for you, me, and for all, for everyone, for anyone and everyone for that matter. So therefore the plus sign stands for inclusivity. The plus sign challenges and denies exclusivity. And something else that the plus sign also does, the plus sign recognizes and acknowledges. What does it recognize and acknowledge? It recognizes and acknowledges the possibilities of many other sexual identities other than L, other than G, other than B, other than T, other than Q, other than A, other than I. So we are welcoming even those forms of sexual identities which we do not know, which we are not aware of. which we have not even understood till date. But that does not prevent us from welcoming them into the existing rubric of LGBTQIA plus studies. So this is how, or this is why we have this plus sign towards the end of LGBTQIA plus sign, right? Now we come towards the uh, business end of this lecture. Uh, there is a Q sign. There is a Q sign in the signal, in the code LGBTQIA plus 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 plus. What's that sign? LGBTQ. Stop, hang on. So there's a Q. And what does that Q in LGBTQIA plus stand for? Q stands for queer. Q stands for queer, right? Yeah. What is queer? What exactly is this queer thing? Queer means odd. Queer means strange. Queer means weird. Queer means bizarre. Queer means something unfamiliar, something unacceptable, something that never fits in. Yeah, absolutely. Something that is unstable. Why not? Yeah. Something that never settles down. Something that never fits in beautifully. So queer is strange, odd, bizarre, weird, unstable, movable, deconstructible. And when do we use these words? Oh, he is so strange. Oh, she is so weird. Yeah, free floating. Yeah, true. Oh, he is so দেখ ওই ছেলেটা কেমন, দেখ ওই মেয়েটা কি অদ্ভুত, দেখ ওকে দেখ, ও একদমই কেমন, আমরা এরকম কিছু দেখে নিচ্ছি, অদ্ভুত, কেমন 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 যেমন তেমন, ছি অদ্ভুত. So these are the words that used to be identified through the word queer. Listen to this carefully, extremely carefully. So these are the words initially they came to define, they came to be associated with queer. Now, queer studies or queer theory, what does it do? It has accepted all these abusive languages. তোমরা আমাকে বলছো অদ্ভুত, ঠিক আছে আমি নিলাম, আমি অদ্ভুত হলাম. আমাকে তোমরা বলছো কেমন, আমি ওটাও নিলাম, কেমন আমি হলাম. তোমরা আমাকে বলছো কি রকম, আমি সেটাও নিলাম কি রকম. And then having taken those অদ্ভুত, those কেমন, those কেমন, those যেমন তেমন, those unstable, unfitting, unacceptable, movable, unsettling, free floating, strange, bizarre, weird, odd, identities, I take them, I accept them with love, affection, and fondness, and turn it on your face. Let me explain this like this. Let me explain this. First, tell me, am I visible perfectly or not? Because I have to show you my hands and faces and fingers. Then I will go on to explain this. Now, just give me a signal that I am perfectly visible and obviously audible. And once I get a nod, then I can go on to explain how we can. Good. Right, right. Watch me move my hands carefully. Not only do you need to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, you also need to see the movements of my face, body, and hands. Because if you wish to become a very, very popular, attractive, and loved teacher, you have to learn not to deliver your lecture, you have to learn how to perform your lecture. Because a good lecturer is not only a deliverer of words like a radio presenter. A good lecturer is someone who is a performer, who is an actor. So if you want to be a very successful teacher, then you not only do you have to deliver your words, not only do you have to be a very good speaker of words, but also a performer of the words. That is to say, a very good, successful, popular lecturer is a brilliant actor. So do not teach, act. Do not deliver your words as a teacher, perform. A professor is not a deliverer of words. A professor is an actor who performs this speech on stage. So watch out the performance. What is queer? Queer is not this. Let me sit straight first so that you can watch me perform, act this lecture. Queer is not this. Is this queer? No, not at all, not in the least. Is this queer? No, not again. This is queer. If I show you with my left hands, is this queer? No. Is this queer? No. This is queer. So what exactly is queer then? Queer is not vertical, ulombo, no. Queer is not horizontal, onubhumik, no, not at all. So the queer is neither vertical nor horizontal. So what is queer then? Queer is this, slanted, which is neither vertical nor horizontal, and at the same time which is both vertical and horizontal simultaneously. Queer is neither horizontal nor vertical, but at the same time queer is both horizontal as well as vertical simultaneously. This is queer. Queer? No. Queer? No. Queer. Queer? No. Queer? No. Queer. This is queer. So queer means, oh, হরাইজেন্টাল, আপনি আমাকে ভালো মানুষ বলছেন, হবে না। আপনি বলছেন রজতবাবু ভীষণ শয়তান বদমাস, হবে না। এটা বোঝো ঠেলা, ভালো মানুষ বুঝতে পারছি না, শয়তান বোঝা যাচ্ছে না। আমি একটা ভালো উদাহরণ দিচ্ছি। এভরি ইয়ার ইন মাই কলেজ students organize farewell party. I'm giving you a very good example, but this is last example. My wife has given me a signal for dinner, so if I do not uh, end this YouTube live session, and I might remain hungry till tomorrow morning. So this is my last example, but this example will help you understand absolutely easily the definition of queer theory, queer studies, and why we need queer theory and queer studies more. Okay, every year in my college, students organize a farewell party. And in that farewell party, at least one or two students, or three students, or four students, but definitely at least one student would do a mimicry of RSM sir. At least minimum, at least I will have one student doing my mimicry in front of me on a stage. The student is performing his or her mimicry of RSM sir, and RSM sir is sitting right in front of him or her, watching him or her perform his own mimicry on stage with all the students and colleagues and principal. And I remember last time there was a mimicry. I do not remember the semester or the name of the student, but there was a student who did a mimicry of me from a dialogue of KGF 2, and the dialogue is almost like this. Excuse me if I fail to do my own mimicry of that student. Yes, Sujay, you remember that. Gender. I hate gender. I avoid. Gender likes me. I cannot avoid gender. And this is how, I'm sorry if I have failed to perform that student's mimicry of me here unaware. So and probably the dialogue was violence. I hate violence, I avoid violence, but violence likes me, I can't avoid it. So this is how they have used that mimicry in front of me. I was sitting right in front of him and he was doing that mimicry. Okay, so please understand this, why I am giving this example. But when you do this mimicry as a professor of that student, how do you see this? It could be that the student is doing my mimicry because the student likes me, loves me, is my fan, or it could be that the student is doing my mimicry because the student and because the student and it could also be that the student is doing my mimicry because they hate me, they don't like me. So I cannot decide, I cannot guarantee that the mimicry is being done on the basis of love. It could also be that the mimicry is done on the basis of hatred. You could mimic me because you do not like me at all. You could also mimic me because you love me absolutely. You could mimic me because you are my fan. You could mimic me because you absolutely hate me and my lectures. So as a teacher, I do not know where this mimicry is coming from. This mimicry could very well comes from the love that the student might have had for the teacher, but this mimicry could also comes from the hatred that the student, or the disgust that the student might have for me in his heart. Similarly, queer, when you say someone is queer, someone is strange, someone is bizarre, someone is odd, you do not know whether you are praising that person or you are ridiculing that person. So what does a queer theorist do? Queer theorist says, okay, you are telling me strange. Okay, you are telling me strange. You are telling I'm RSM, you are telling RSM strange. You are telling RSM odd. You are telling RSM weird. You are telling RSM bizarre. Fine, I take all these things into my heart. I take all these things into my stride happily. And having taken them into my stride, I turn it on your face. I turn it on your face. How do I turn it on your face? I will do certain things because I am strange. I will do certain things because I am odd. তখন কিন্তু তুমি বলতে পারবে না, স্যার আপনি এই সব কাজ করছেন কেন? Because I am strange. Why are you doing this, saying these things? Because I am odd. এইগুলো বলছেন কেন আপনি? Because I am bizarre. আপনি কি করে এগুলো করতে পারেন একজন টিচার হয়ে, একজন প্রফেসর হয়ে? Because I am অদ্ভুত, কেমন? And if someone is strange, odd, bizarre, unstable, unacceptable, socially unfit, then he can do anything. Then queer, instead of becoming abusive, it becomes liberating. Because now I am odd, so I can do anything. Since I am strange, I am free to say anything and do anything. So now, queer, from being abusive, from being repulsive, queer now becomes liberating. Celebration of independence. And that independence and that celebration and that inclusivity is encoded in the rainbow emoji, which involves all the colors. That is to say, rainbow is a symbol which does not believe in excluding any color. In fact, rainbow is an emoji which believes in including all the colors. And also, whenever you will use rainbow, use after the rainbow a plus sign, like LGBTQIA+. Because if any color is missing in your rainbow, you keep your door open for that color to come in. You welcome all the colors that are there in the rainbow and all the colors that are not there in a rainbow, but the door remains open, the door remains wide open with love and fondness. This is my Pride Month video. June being the Pride Month. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support, love, and fan following. And before I say good night, I would be really happy if you kindly convey me whether you are satisfied, you are happy, you are okay with the lecture. If you are satisfied, if you are okay, if you are happy with the lecture, then we can say safely that we have tonight observed Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, happy Pride June, and happy Rainbow to you all. Let us celebrate all the colors. Let us celebrate all the sexualities. And let us not do two things. Let us not exclude any color from your rainbow. And let us not stop using that plus sign towards the end of LGBTQIA++. Because it is all about queer theory, queer studies is all about inclusivity. Queer theory, queer studies is absolutely anti-exclusivist and pro-inclusive. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a very, very happy Pride June month. Hope to see you all very, very quickly. Thank you. Stay tuned. Keep sharing this video everywhere in your social media and keep subscribing. Thank you. Good night. Love you all. Tata. See you soon and enjoy your happy Pride month and keep using rainbow with plus sign and never forget that plus sign. Never exclude anyone. Never exclude anyone. We do not believe in exclusion. We only believe in inclusion. And queer theory is the only theory that celebrates all sorts of inclusivity. And our fight, let's take the resolution in this Pride Month, is against all sorts of exclusion, and our fight is in favor of all sorts of inclusion. Thank you.